Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crate Expectations. I'm here with my co-host, Sarah. Sarah, how are you today?
I'm just Sarah this week, man.
Hmm. You wanted more?
Last week I was COVID Sarah.
Oh, yeah, you want like Grump Face Sarah or something, right? That's what you're going for.
Yeah, clearly. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing a show with a Grump Face, so you tell me.
I've like been smiling the whole time and been so polite.
Yeah, suffocatingly polite. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, guys, we do this show. Sarah, if you don't know who Sarah is, she has her own YouTube channel and she has her own podcast. And those things are linked in the video description. And the second half of this video is over on her page. So go, make sure you watch at this video in its entirety. So that's that important, I'm sure. And that hit the sub button and like it and like all the things, like mount the algorithm like crazy, like it's the last time you'll ever mount an algorithm, and then go over to Sarah's channel and do the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, and watch the second half
yeah.
if you want.
I would hope that they would want to, because usually the conversation just bleeds into the second half and we run out of time.
I wouldn't use the analogy bleeds, but
No?
yeah, it sounds like
Runs over into
it's
the
like
second
we're
half.
that's also violent, dear lord.
Oh.
It's okay. Canadians. All right.
Am I
So
a
what?
violent individual?
I've always thought you kind of were, but
Oh.
it's okay.
All right.
So what do we have going today?
Okay, so not like a whole ton of news. We've got a new ship.
I think there's lots of news.
Is there a lot of news? We've got a new ship.
I mean, if you're paying attention, there was a lot of news, but
Sure.
yeah, we got a new ship,
There's a new ship. There's new
the
Omicron,
Claw.
the Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Set two of Datacrons has started rolling out.
Yeah, it's a
Kind
big
of.
deal, actually. Yep,
It is a big deal. Um,
big old deal.
I guess we can do speed GAC.
You know what? I don't need to.
We can. If we want to, we can.
We like balance each other out. So.
The pack review we're gonna go over is Datacron based, so if that's of interest. And then there's a bunch of viewer questions. I figured, well, actually, you figured it made sense to go over Asajj later, and then we can roast a
Yeah.
roster.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds mildly okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, yeah, I feel like there's some decent news actually. Did you look at the?
The claw.
No,
Oh,
I know you did because you talked about it at length in the in your podcast. So,
right.
but we'll talk about it too, anyways. But I think the biggest thing of interest to me are the balancing changes. Well, they're not balancing. Sorry, the economy changes to Datacrons. Did you read that
Oh
post or
yeah, I
forum
did read
post?
that. You're right. There was that news too.
And to me, that is really big. Actually,
Mhm.
like there's so many implications because Datacrons are uh, like they're polarizing right now in the community, and I can't say like I flip flop every day. I'm just like, man, Datacrons are like, oh, that's cool. Like, there's some good tactical flexibility. Like, you get to actually change things up, and then it all changes again after 3 months. And then there's
Mhm.
other times that I'm like, I hate Datacrons and everything that they stand for, and I wish that CG would just eradicate them off of the face, like kill them with fire. So
Say
I don't
I'm
know.
violent. Um,
I mean, you are who your friends are, and I've been hanging out with you too much, apparently.
I've been flip flopping on them too, actually. So I get this. I understand this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, so I've been flip flopping on them, and I feel like I'm not nearly as affected by them as you are.
oh yeah, I see. Gosh, there's a guy in my group right now who has 4, and I know someone else who has 6 level 9s.
My current opponent has one level one.
One level 1.
One level one.
That'll
So
be good for them.
yeah.
Hmm.
So we're at opposite ends of the spectrum here in terms of GAC interaction with them, but my point is, even with that opposite end like
Right.
interaction, I even am flip flopping on how much I like them.
Well, so there's some interesting things about it though. So, they make this post,
Mm-hmm.
and excuse me, they make this post, and that they so first off, we're gonna get 3 times the materials for farming them in Conquest.
Mm-hmm.
So
Off
if
of
you were
those nodes,
yeah, so if you were getting 5 of something before, now the same roll will yield you 15 of that.
which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's great, and it makes it way more approachable. I feel like for people to be able to for like people who want to spend less on
Mm-hmm.
things, like they're gonna make it way more approachable. And I mean that what that tells me. Well, I don't know. I'm curious because I've already drawn conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
So that they've overall made relic materials. I wish they would make relic materials more accessible. That's actually an issue because they're stealing relic materials
Mm-hmm.
from us. If we want to use shard store currency, we have to choose between relic, gear 12 pieces and
Yeah.
so there's that issue, but that's not what I'm getting at right now. There's they've made Datacron materials way more available.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what, if any, conclusions have you drawn about from this?
Of them making them more available, they want them out there way more than what they currently are.
Yeah. And I think it's because the community, by and large, has been like, you know what, Datacrons, like we're just gonna ignore you.
Like I have um two that I would consider good to equip. Like I have one level 9 and one level 3. And well, now I have 2 level 3s, but
Ooh.
I know, wild over here. Um but I like for 8.2 million GP, they're probably like, you should have more.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to think. So they probably spent forever on this update, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they put a ton of effort into it. And what? So I think they need to change it because Relic 3 on the whole squad to be able to use them. I'm like my 7 million account
Mm-hmm.
is like I have like 2 squads that can use them.
Well,
Is it?
so I
Like
was
if my Galactic Legend squads can't use them.
well, I actually made that point on H&N last night when I was recording. Was I mentioned your alt account specifically because I went in to do a territory war um, battle, and I was going to use your level 9 Datacron, and I was like,
Yeah.
I like it's for Kenobi, and
Yeah.
I was like, I can't because
Yeah.
this cat was relic 4, and like not to throw PX under the bus here, but like, but this is the irritating part is because she's level 4, the whole squad doesn't get the Galactic Republic boost, and
Right.
Kenobi doesn't even get his level 9 boost because you're not activating that level 6 boost. And I was like, this is stupid.
Oh, I know. And I've wanted to get a relic. Like, I'm gonna have to prioritize it, but I've been trying to farm Starkiller, and
Yeah.
it's like, how am I gonna get like a relic 5 mat for that? Like, I need to. That's important, and she really benefits from more relics, anyways. But yeah, like I was operating the squad just fine
Hmm.
at Relic 4, frankly, like for where my account is and everything. I haven't needed it more, and yet, yeah, you're exactly right. You can use the level 3 material or the
Yeah.
level 3 stuff, but for the expenditure, it's just completely so
Well,
that Datacron
mhm.
in this round of GAC is just sitting on my General Skywalker squad because I did get Rex up to Relic 5 for that.
Mhm. Well, and like that's the thing is that when you look at it, it's Relic 3 is like the entry to put the Datacron on your team. But when you really break it down, if you actually want to use, if you're building these Datacrons to level 6, level 9, like if you actually
Hmm.
want to use them properly, Relic 5 is the entry.
Yeah, and honestly, like after playing, so okay, there's like 10,000 people in Kyber One or something like that, 10,000 accounts ish. It probably fluctuates. Actually, it probably is expanding as the player base total expands,
Mhm.
if it is expanding. But one way or another, then everyone like I've played near the top of Kyber Two on my alt,
Mhm.
all the way down to toward the end to the bottom of Kyber 2, and I just like there are so few squads that people can actually use them.
Yeah.
So there's like 10,000 people who are above me that I don't really necessarily know. I know that my main account has no issues. Like I can use them pretty interchangeably among my squads. Like a couple of small exceptions, but for the most part, because it's a big account and Relic 5 is expected, but like at some point in Kyber 1 even, I'm sure that there's just like this cutoff where it's like, yeah, I could use it on a couple squads, sure.
Mhm.
But like what incentive does CG have? Like so okay, you can get a level 9 relatively easily. Like over time, like you can get it free to play. People have been telling me it's crazy. Like you can't actually do that. I'm like, well, I I can because I did.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't spend any money on it.
You
Uh
can.
yeah, like I mean, you probably haven't spent money on them either.
I didn't spend any money on it.
Yeah, level 9. So I mean, there's that. Uh, but okay, so you get one or two for free, but if you want like 7 of them, for instance, what if I'm like, man, okay, my account is small, but I'm gonna spend a bunch of money, get ahead, and just destroy people who have bigger accounts than me.
Mhm.
I can't. I actually just can't. I have no incentive to get any more than like one level 9 on my account because I only have one squad that can use a level 9.
Right. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like they want people to engage. So I think they're gonna have to change. I feel like a Relic 3 entrance level is completely crazy.
The This is the thing is if you're making a relic requirement entrance level, you need to address the issue of the gear crunch getting to relics. Because if
Yeah,
you're
it's a
making the
good point.
gate be relics, you need to make it accessible for us to get to relics. And it's
Right.
not accessible to get, like, it's painful to get to relics, especially that gear 12.
This has been the most painful month and a half, 2 months of my life trying to farm for Star Killer
Oh,
on that
it's
on the alt account.
awful. And like I'm doing it too, and I've
Yeah.
been like, okay. And the crazy thing is I'll look at the gear list that I need in hot utils through events gear, and I see like all of the pieces, and it's disgusting the amount of gear that is needed. So then I go in and I buy it, and then I switch over to PX, and I'm like, oh, you need this piece too. I know you
Yeah.
will need this because I'm gonna need it.
I'm gonna need it too. Yep.
And it's so gross, and you just can't. That's like if you're moving the gate there, you got to make the gate easy to access.
Well, I agree. Like I think that's the thing that's really killing me about all of this is like they promised that they'd do more catch up mechanics, and then at some point they just stopped mentioning them. And
Mhm.
I've talked about this before, but like CG's been like, hey, you know, we're gonna do this gear, we're gonna give you more gear, like we're gonna roll out more phases, and in reality, like so I thought that they were done with phase 1, but if you look closely at it,
Mhm.
there's still a few things that they haven't done for phase 1.
What have
for the
they?
for the gear crunch.
Because I was looking at it yesterday, and
Hmm.
it's just so vaguely worded that I'm like, did you do this? I don't know.
Well, like
Like,
the territory battle equalization thing, that never happened. That they never mentioned it, at least if they did.
mhm.
Uh, I mean, I just you have to give us something here, CG, and not just like cheaper packs, you know? Like we don't all want to spend a bunch of money. Like I could spend a little bit of money on my main account,
Mhm.
but my alt is just still. I mean, I'm just treading water with everyone else, like getting more. Like they release Radis, and I'm like, that's nice. Like another Gear One to my collection, like another burner squad. That'll be good.
Mhm.
Yeah, like eventually I have to work on him, I guess. But like it's hard to get excited for new characters when I'm so far behind on the like just normal characters.
Well, and like that's the thing. When you factor in newer players or mid-level players,
Mm-hmm.
it makes like if I was in that situation, Datacrons wouldn't even be something I would want to engage with because the gate to get to them is just ridiculous.
Right. Well, and this the honestly like so account building has changed now actually in
Mhm.
my opinion. Like so so now gosh, I mean there's so many things to address about Datacrons really. Like so account building is different because you can like now it's like okay get the squad and don't just get them to gear 12 or 13 or like don't just make them functional, get
Mhm.
them to gear to relic 5, get all of them to relic 5, and then you can move on to the next squad.
It's crazy.
But then how can you farm Cantina?
Yeah, that's a good
like
point.
like how can you farm the characters in Cantina if you're a new player? Like you just have to hope that they keep offering characters from Cantina as like free, like hey random drops for you guys kind of
Well,
thing.
and that's the other thing that makes it even more ridiculous. To get to the relics, you need to have the character farm because you can't get gear 12 if the character's not 7 stars.
Right.
So the character has to be fully farmed. So you're farming in Cantina, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
which means you're not farming relic materials, which means you can't get to the gate anyway.
Right.
So it's a whole endless loop of limiting factors.
Oh, it is. I love me a good endless loop, but it is just like I mean, okay, so then there's this other piece, and honestly, so man, this isn't going away. This is
Yeah.
okay, you know what Datacrons are? It's an extension of them wanting GLs to be protected and safe and special. That's what it is. Because so you know the whole like Lord Failure thing,
Yeah.
like Lord Vader is such a fail. Like he's got the most holds this season out of any leader
Mhm.
in the game by a huge margin. Like it's not really close. Like he because they just add like he all he needs is a level 3 Datacron, and it makes him so obnoxious. And it's like I used 3 teams to kill him last night
Mhm.
because I couldn't spare Supreme Leader Kylo because I needed him for something else. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have cleared and I wouldn't have won the match. Like he is so obnoxious with just one little Datacron change, and uh, you know
It's crazy.
that like the Datacron stole the off meta
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. Like that, it still works kind of if you really know what you're doing, but and maybe that'll change. Maybe like this upcoming season will be interesting because like there's a few off meta teams that might really start pushing the envelope a little bit. But I don't know. They took Lord Vader with they never nerfed another squad. They never buffed him. They just said, "Hey, have some Datacrons." What do you think? What do you think of that about the boost that GLs are getting from this? Like this seems crazy to me.
Well, I'm like, that's the thing is I'm so torn because that's a level 3 Datacron. That's not even a level 9 that's affecting just him, like the same way that the Kenobi and Rey ones are working, right? Like, which those ones are insane too. It just seems like there is a lot of tweaking that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to do it. Well, unlike, so to be honest, I was thinking about this, and every month we're gonna have a new set and like new um abilities on, or whatever, modifiers on them, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Eventually they're gonna have to start
Excuse me.
repeating. So how creative how creative are they? They're just going to start, when they start repeating factions, are we going to be repeating the modifier again, which means are we just going to have a revolving meta, because you'll be like, oh yeah, this set was active 7 months ago and this is what it did and this is what worked and what didn't work, and then that meta kind of comes back and then the old one goes away and then it comes back again with meta 4 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. Will we get the same abilities for Ray eventually again, or will like so right now they're emphasizing Galactic Legends.
Mm-hmm.
What if they go like 3 sets in a row
Mm-hmm.
where there's no Galactic Legends as the characters that are impacted?
Right. But I
Eh,
mean, that's the thing that, like you were just saying, Lord Vader's not a character that's impacted,
Right.
but the
Well,
level
you're right.
3 Datacron is having an impact.
Yeah, well, and you're absolutely right about that. I mean, it's a whole mess because
So,
he's ridiculous.
do you do something like code it, whereas you could only have one Galactic Legend on your team? Do you code it that if there's a Galactic Legend, you can't have a Datacron? Does that fix the problem?
Like kind of like Omicrons. I mean, so that's the
Yeah.
thing that I've loved about Omicrons actually is so that they'll let Omicrons from the really expensive awesome characters impact Galactic Legends. Like Star Killer, they're like, yeah, okay, Star Killer, all your stuff works on Galactic Legends.
Mm-hmm.
But then like Qui-Gon, who was literally just like just one-shotting Galactic Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And just totally unbalanced the game. They needed to fix it. They did fix it, and a lot of people were frustrated about that, which I can understand on some levels. But like it wasn't good for the game, for the balance of the game. Like there's certain characters that it's just like, oh yeah, well it works on everyone but Galactic Legends. Like Omicrons are really nice and nicely balanced for that, reason. But Datacrons, they're just like, oh sure, like yeah, go ahead and get your like. I just re-rolled potency on my Ray
Mm-hmm.
Datacron, and instead of having like 60% potency, which I mean that's good on other squads, but not on the Ray team, I
Mm-hmm.
got I got another 20% health on Ray. I was like, my Ray is so obnoxious already. I did not need another 20% health.
Oh man.
You know?
Yeah. And like, but that's the thing, is it's like, do you just make it so it's not a GL factor?
Yeah, it's like you can't equip this. Or it's only relevant up to number 6, level 6 or something. Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing: they're not going away. They're just not.
Right.
Like that's the people are all like, oh, just make it so that GLs can't be affected. But I don't know. Like, oh, okay, so how about this? What if they made it so that Omicrons, or sorry, Datacrons. I hate that they use crons for
I
both of those. By
know.
the way,
It's
the
so
the
ridiculous.
two most recent forms of progression
Have been crons.
have been crons. Yeah, it's like just throw a cron on him.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of
Which
cron?
one?
Stupid. I people get confused in my videos. I'm like, oh yeah, like so then you use the Omicron with this tenacity thing, and people are like, wait, there's an Omicron that has tenacity. What?
It
Like,
happens but everyone's doing it. Everyone's calling them Omicrons, and it's like, nah, Datacron.
yeah, I'm like, we all just have to be a little more understanding of each other here. But
You know what? Just call it the Tesseract and move on.
the Tesseract,
Problem
yeah,
solved.
right, right. So, anyways, what if they made it so that crons
Mhm.
couldn't so it would impact all the other characters. Every other character gets a stat boost except for Galactic Legends on the
Okay,
squad.
well then why can't my Gear 12 Newt be on the team?
Because get him geared up because you need him anyways.
Okay, but like my point is, like, if you're
No,
gonna
I'm
code that,
no. But you're throwing in a different issue here.
I know. But I
We
mean, you
already talked about
could,
it.
and then you're just on the team, but then like I don't know, you're still boosting the Galactic Legend team.
Yeah, but I mean, like how many people really look closely at like Resistance Hero Finn when he's on a Ray team? Like he's just another shooty boy, you know?
Sure, but like that Dark Side level 3 one where you inflict what is it 4 debuffs and then you reduce your cooldowns by 1.
Mm-hmm.
That one's nuts. You don't even need a Galactic Legend on that one, and it's
Yeah,
nuts.
but it would make the Galactic Legend tougher, but not so tough that you're just. I mean, so I mean, I've talked to you about this. I've even advised. I'm like, don't make the best squad that you have a crutch on offense. Don't make it like, don't let that be a crutch. Like, learn how to do off meta stuff, or at least like
Mhm.
use lower level things to beat. You know, don't be a slave to keeping the best team on offense. And yet now there are teams that I legitimately cannot think of ways to beat them without using
A crutch.
Kenobi. Without
Yeah.
using like I'm like, well, Jedi Master Kenobi's going to be on offense a whole lot more for me, and he's just like, on some levels it's opened the doors because like Jedi Master Luke can take a weird squad, and I can still have, encounter a lot of teams,
Hmm.
and I can still have on top of that I can have a Jedi Knight Revan team that's fully functional and a Jedi Knight or a Jedi Master Kenobi team. So it opens those doors.
Hmm.
It makes my roster more versatile, but at the same time, it really constricts like, well, I guess I have to use a GL on that. Like I don't have an option. There's no
No.
way to beat that team unless I use a GL.
Yeah. That's exactly what they're doing, right?
Right. Well, and that's, I mean, they're trying to push us into GLs, but I I hate the Relic. The Relic 3 thing has really been bugging me lately.
Yeah.
I'll stop whining about it, especially Relic 5 too. But so I mean, this is all stemming from this one little piece of news that they're trying to increase engagement in this new cool game mode, because it's like people at the very top are kind of engaging, and so a lot of those people are just like, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna ignore it too. Like no one cares. Like that they haven't found a way to make the majority of people care about Datacrons.
Right.
People get angry at them, or they just are indifferent. I think the indifference. So like all we hear are people who are angry. The
Hmm.
people who are indifferent are just gonna go be indifferent quietly in the corner
And I
and not
honestly
engage.
think, like, if this might sound crazy, I honestly think the indifferent group is the bigger group.
Yeah, I think so. I absolutely agree with that, actually.
Um, yeah, because it's a bigger chunk of players.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even people who want to engage, they just can't. They're like, that looks cool and all, but I'm 3 million and I have, there's an okay number of relics there sometimes. Actually,
Hmm.
there's surprisingly amazing accounts at level or at 3 million, but the majority of people at that level, because I've played at that level a ton with my old Prevail Man account,
Hmm.
the majority of people are just like, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, like, or maybe not know what they're doing, but they don't have a fully Relics 5 team. They don't,
Right.
much less like 3 or 4 or 5 of them.
Right.
That's the majority. People watching your mileage may vary, but
Yeah. Right. Okay.
um, yeah. So we're almost out of time on this side actually
And we've
already.
only talked about Datacrons.
I know, and I feel like we could talk another half hour on just Datacrons.
I know.
Okay, quick hitter. You excited about the claw?
Yeah. I'm excited that I have his
You
pilot.
do not sound excited.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like I'm waiting to see, like, I feel like he's coming out and it's not quite settled yet with what's going to happen with these rebel fleets, I'm going to say, since we know there's going to be more than one.
Yeah, there will be. I think it's going to be a rebel fleet, and then I think it's going to be rebel, but it's more like going to be either scoundrel or just cargo ship. That's my
Right.
prediction.
Right. That,
Radis.
that
Or
makes sense.
Adrad's team. So, okay. Guys, go over, watch Sarah's video after this immediately. There should be a text or box you can click. If not, video description, go.
Yeah.